welcome to another episode of Justlivin Designs podcast. My name is Shannon, Justlivin Designs, and it is episode number 49, and it is my 2-year Podiversary in a few days. But since this is the closest episode I'm recording to my Podiversary, I started right around the beginning of fall 2 years ago in 2023. So 2 years at this. It's grown since the beginning, and especially last time. I don't know what happened with the algorithm, but I just want to say hi and thanks to all the new viewers out there and new subscribers. But yeah, my last podcast episode 2 weeks ago was viewed by a lot more people than they usually are, and that is great. I love it. Please like, comment, subscribe, keep it going. That makes me very happy. All right, so this is my knitting podcast, primarily, where I talk about things that I'm making, generally knit, every once in a while crochet. I'm not showing my crochet blanket today just because I didn't do much work on it, because I'll show you why in a little bit. And I'm also an independent knitwear designer. So I will talk about my own patterns, but I also use this podcast to talk about other people's patterns and designs that I like to knit. Today I do have a pattern release, so I will talk about that right away with a coupon code that you guys can use to get 15% off of it for about a week. Well, a week from when it released. And what else? Yeah, so I talk about all my knitting, making. I talk about any acquisitions I might have, and then I end with reading, watching, and life stuff. So normal knitting podcast format. I come to you from Montana. Today is Thursday, September 18th. It's about 9:30 in the morning. This will come out Friday. I think that's all my normal spiel, but again, thanks for everybody that's been tuning in. So first thing I want to talk about is my new pattern that I just released. I released this yesterday on Wednesday. And it is a sock design. I was teasing it over the last couple of episodes, I think. But this is a fun Halloween sock design. And I love it. So this is Toil and Trouble. It is a colorwork sock pattern that has witches' hats on the legs. And I made it two versions within the pattern, just so people don't, a lot of times I'll try to write it if you a shorty version as well. And my shorty version, I just did one repeat of the hat pattern. And then my tall version, I did 5. So this is Toil and Trouble. You can get it for 15% off on Ravelry with the coupon code Witch15. Also on PayHip, you can use that code to do PayHip if you can't do Ravelry. I can't do coupon codes on Lovecrafts, but you can also buy it on Lovecrafts as well. So I like to have other options out there for people that don't do Ravelry anymore. All right, so this version, the tall version, there's 2, was knit with a Moonglow Yarn Co. sock set. So Moonglow Yarn Co., oh, wrong one, is, she does tonals. I think basically tonals. And she is fairly local to me dyer. And this set, I think I bought it last year. It might have been her Halloween colorway last year. She comes out with seasonal releases, and she'll bring back some of the old ones. She did not bring this one back this year, but you could use any of her sock sets to get a very similar looking fun vibe. Any of her like Halloween fall looking ones would all look very good with this pattern. She just had a release last Friday, and yeah, so Moonglow Yarn Co., and this was the Toil and Trouble sock set. So it came with 100 gram fingering weight main color, the brown, and then 5 10 gram minis. All of her sock sets generally have, most of her sock sets, I'll put it that way, generally have 5 to 6 minis that are 10 grams with a 100 gram main. So I had leftover yarn with I made pattern has 4 sizes. I made the second size, and I use, even with the stripes, that's an option you can use in the pattern. You don't have to put stripes. Even with the stripes, I used about 4 grams per mini color. So I had enough left for one of my sock yarn blankets for those. All right, so that's the tall sock and the yarn. The shorty sock, I bought this yarn last year as well. This is from Murray & Company Wool Goods, and it is their neon tweed sock. And this one was Graveyard Bats. So it's like charcoaly black, and there are speckles in there, but then there's all these neon tweedy bits in there, and I just thought that was kind of fun. And I had this mini skein from, I want to say, was it Yarn Cafe Creations? I think Marmalade. It was part of her like fall set last year. I had this, and I thought it was lovely, like contrast that would go really well with this one. Even though the yarn's busy, you can still see those hats. And like I said, I wanted to make a shorty version because even here in Montana, sometimes Halloween can be quite warm still. And other times we could have snow. You never know. But there are areas in the world where Halloween is chilly. And so shorty Halloween socks are kind of a necessity for a lot of people. So yeah. So this version just has the single row of hats. And then I use the contrast color down at the toe as well, just to have a little pop of that color down there. But yeah, I love these socks. I love how they turned out. I had this idea, and then I started working on it, and I made this first sock, and then I made the shorty pair, and then I finally got back to making the second sock on this one. But I had that, you know, it's like when you get that idea, and I love Halloween, and that's coming up soon. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I really enjoyed knitting them. It goes so fast. I will say, when I knit color work in general, I generally go up a needle size. And so I did the color work up here on US 1.5 or 2.5 millimeter, whereas the rest of the sock was US 1, 2.25 millimeter. And that way my floats are not too stiff, so there's still enough stretch on your leg. And then I also generally use, I don't like to do color work in Magic Loop, but I prefer to knit in Magic Loop for socks. So I used my little shorty circular needles to do the color work part, because then I don't get I don't like it in Magic Loop. And that's just me. But if you have if you try to do this, and I don't write about the circular needle, but I do write about how I went up a needle size for the color work in the pattern. All right, that's all about that. Oh, I suppose I need to get these off because I got more socks to show you. So that's my pattern release. I'm excited. It's fun. All right. Now I'm going to move to finished objects, and I have 2 finished objects from last time. One of them was almost done last time. It was a pair of socks that I just had the toe of the second sock to finish up. So I talked about these last time. But this is my Fourth Wing socks, the Quest Squad colorway from Forbidden Fiber Co. And I finished both socks. And I just love how they turned out. And this one I used my trusty top-down sock pattern, which is one of my cheaper sock designs. When they're just kind of a basic sock recipe type of a design, they're not as expensive as when they have all the patterning and other things with them. And this one is 9 sizes, top down, with a heel flap and gusset, but the heel has garter stitch edge to it. And I have a video tutorial on this channel for how I pick up stitches there, and I will link that down below. But yeah, this is 9 sizes. I knit these 2x1 rib for the cuff, and US ones 2.25 millimeter. I always link my project pages down below, so if you want to find out more, I have project pages for everything I talk about, and everything will be linked down below. But if you ever have any questions, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, I love these perfect moody socks. And I think I finished them right after I podcasted last time, because I one, wanted to get them done, but two, while I'm editing and stuff, I'll knit a little bit, and so I was just working on those. All right, next one I had cast on last time because I talked about all these knit-alongs that I am participating in, and this one was for the Monster Cow on Instagram. And again, I'll link that down below because that goes until the end of the month, I believe. So you have time to get something in for that. But these are my Monster Cow socks. So these are super fun. I knit toe up stockinette vanilla sock with a 2x2 rib at the cuff, and put in Afterthought heels. And I have a video tutorial on this channel for how to cut in Afterthought heels. I can link that down below as well. And this one I used leftovers from Woolens and Nosh, her Targhee base, and two of them also are from Freckled Whimsy's Targhee base that she no longer carries, but she had in her shop for a little while there. And since they're the same base and they're all self-striping, I did those. And so they're not matchy because I changed colors at the same point, but it might have fallen in a different part of the repeat of the socks. So they don't 100% match, but the colors changed at the same point. So it's kind of fun because they actually ended in the same. And then this section right in here is about the same because that was the same stripe repeat that I had. But like here, it's not quite the same. Here, it's not the same. Here, it's not the same at all because this one had a 12 stripe repeat. Here, it's not the same, but you can see that they match. You know, I think they're fun. So these are for me. The last pair of monster socks that I made for this knit-along last year, I made for my daughter. So these ones are mine. And they're super fun. So that is all the finished objects. 2 pairs of socks. But now I'm going to talk about some whips. Have a sip of tea. I have a bit of a sore throat. I hope I'm not getting sick. I could be because my son was sick. And this is a mug I know people are going to ask from Desert Pine Studio. I think it was an Etsy shop. I'll try to remember to link it down below. All right. So, I have 1 sock going right now on the needle. That's it. And I have 1 of them finished. So, put that on a blocker here. This is, do I have the tag? I probably have the tag in the back. That's funny. I didn't even weave in the ends yet. Usually I weave in the ends once the sock is finished, but I finished this sock at soccer on Saturday, and I didn't weave in the ends at the soccer fields. So I still have to weave in the ends. I usually do that right away when I'm done. I'll have to leave this out and weave them in today. So this yarn I bought a few years back. Murray & Co. Wool Company. She, I don't know if she does this so much anymore, but she used to do like monthly clubs where she would show you the theme or tell you the theme or show you a picture that was the theme, and then it would be a mystery. So you kind of knew what it was going to be, but you weren't sure. And this one was Sanderson Sisters, so it was a Hocus Pocus theme. And so I didn't know what I was getting exactly. And it was on her yak sock base, which is a 70-20-10 superwash merino yak nylon. And it's so like jewel tone and moody, and I loved it. And so I decided to knit my in the Park Socks pattern, which I released earlier this year. It's just a fun textured pattern that just has something a little more interesting than just stockinette. But I think these look lovely. You can kind of, yeah, there you can really see that patterning on there. But yeah, and it was a sock set, so it came with this like caramely color, which I just love. That's really in my color jam. So these are going to be for me just because I know that yak is a softer fiber and I'm not as hard on socks. My daughter would love these, but she's really tough on socks because she wears shoes like all day with her socks. And I generally don't. I wear slippers because I work from home. And my socks just don't get as much wear as hers do. All right. So yeah, I have one done. And then this one is getting close to the heel flap. I think I have a few more repeats to go. I haven't been working on it nearly as much. So I finished this one sock at soccer last week. My son actually played a double header game. He did have a break in between. So he played a game, had a break, we had lunch, and then he played another game. And so I finished one sock, kitchened it at one game, and then started the other sock between games, and then knit on the sock a little bit between games. So it was my soccer games. Any charms that you see generally come from Charmed and Dangerous. This one was from a club. Oh, I don't remember which club, but she does like mystery clubs as well. Where you'll get 3 charms generally in your club. And this one was from a club, and it's like a door with a raven and a moon. But yeah, so that's my one and only sock whip right now. And it is in a bag that I just love. This is from my friend Jane. These fun cats. She does patchwork bags that are just beautiful. And her shop is Rose in the Wren. I have a lot of her bags. She's down in Colorado. So yeah, I will always link her shop as well. Okay, so that's the sock whip. Now I started 2 new garments this last couple of weeks because it's getting cooler out, and that's when I want to knit on sweaters and other things like that more when it gets cooler out. I generally don't want to knit on sweaters in the summer. So first I started a vest. Let's see if I can show you this without showing the pattern. Oh, here's a better picture. Okay. All right. So this is Smoke Show by Thea Coleman. It is a cabled vest that is worked flat because it is cardigan style with buttons. And I think she originally designed it in like a Mayak yarn, and so she calls for like a heavy decayed light worsted weight yarn. And I'm knitting mine with, let's see, do we have a full skein? With Nightshades. This is from Harrisville Designs. And this colorway is Dashboard. And so this one has it's a dark blue, it's a black yarn, and then this one has dark blue spun with it. I've used this yarn before to make my husband a sweater, and his was the, it was like the moss green color with it. I can't remember what the name of it was. But yeah, so this is, yarn is grown in Montana. The wool is grown in Montana, so it's a local, it's US made, all that fun stuff. But this is how far I am. I'm ready to do another buttonhole row, I do believe. So I marked my first buttonhole row, and then I have one more because the band is knit as you go. So I don't have to pick up the band afterwards. And you can see those cables in there? I have one vest. I don't wear it very often. But I kind of think vests might be fun this time of year. And I thought I have a couple pairs of corduroys. One's like a warm brown, and then one is like an orangey colorway. And I thought this vest would look really cute with both of those pairs of pants. So planning out my outfits. And this another charm from Charmed and Dangerous. But yeah, so I cast that on, and that's been fun. It's easy. The cables are simple enough. They're just a 2x2 twisting cable, so I don't have to use a cable needle. I think it should only take, I'm still only on the first ball of yarn. Here's the rest of it. So according to the pattern, it should only take 3 balls, which is what I have. So we shall see if I need more or not. And this is in an old bag from Howey & Co. This is a Pampa bucket in the natural color. It was a lot lighter when I first bought it, and it's naturally patinaing over the years. That's nice leather stand-up bucket bag, which is perfect for sweaters or vests. And one more cast on that I cast on about a week ago. It was last Friday. And this one is in my redesign bag. I love this one, the number 10. I ranted and raved about this bag a few episodes back when I first bought it. But it just holds so much. It opens up. This is the Aros sweater by Petite Knit. It's a stripy sweater. She knits hers with a fingering weight and a mohair held together. And I am knitting mine with just DK weight. It's a light DK because this is Rowan felted tweed. I don't remember how many balls, but last year I won a prize from my LYS yarn bar, and it was all these colors minus this one. This one I had in stash. I think it had 2 of this one. So it was 8 balls of yarn with 7 different colors. And so I pulled out the extra one of this one and put in this blue just so I had 8 different colors. I think Petite Knit uses 7, but I was like, just to make sure that I don't run out of any of the colors, because some of the stripes use up more yarn depending on where they land on your body. I was like, I'm going to throw in an 8th color, and that way I should be just fine getting through it all. And this is how much I've done already. I mean, I probably have a couple inches to go before I'm done with the body, before I can start the ribbing. And the ribbing calls for only like less than an inch. I'll probably do at least an inch because I like a little bit of a chunkier rib. I might do it for as many rows as a stripe normally is, so it just ends with a full stripe. Maybe. We'll see. But this one has like a saddle shoulder type situation going up at the top, and then it does shaping where you're just shaping the sleeve, not the body anymore. And then you do more raglan shaping down here. I have written on my project page any modifications I did because I got gauge with US 6s. I normally don't with Petite Knit because she's a tighter knitter than I am, but since my yarn is a bit thinner, I got gauge with her suggested needle size, and I got row gauge. And with that, if I didn't separate for sleeves when I did, I would have probably been somewhere down here in this green stripe. I separated after 2 rows of the pink, and I would have been way down here before I separated for sleeves if I followed the pattern and did all my increases the way I was supposed to. And I did not enjoy that. Being that long of yoke part of this sweater. So I just cast on more stitches in the underarm. Not quite as much because I was also kind of between sizes. So I have my own stitch count now, just because I didn't want it too oversized, but I didn't want it too tight. And I was like, this sweater only calls for 2 inches of positive ease. And I would have had like 3 or 4 inches if I did the size that I was doing, but I didn't I wouldn't have had hardly any if I did the other size. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just cast on a little bit fewer stitches in the underarm, and I have my own stitch count. But yeah, I'm loving this. I'm going to do this black color up here for the collar, and then the sleeves will be striped the same way as the body. They'll be longer because arms are generally longer than your body depth anyways. So I will have more colors on the sleeves, more stripes on the sleeves than I do on the body. But yeah, I'm really enjoying, that's where I put most of my effort, because it's like, stripes are fast. Stripes are just fast. Self-striping or striping on your own, they're just fast because it's like, oh, I can just do another stripe. I can just do another stripe, and you don't put it down. So I'll probably be done. I'm sure I'll be done with it by the next episode in 2 weeks, but hopefully I will. Sometimes sleeves take me some time. So that is all my whips that I'm talking about this time. Like I said, I think I only crocheted 2 squares for my log cabin crochet blanket. So I wasn't showing that. I've added maybe 3 or 4 to my other fingering weight cozy memory blanket, but just, it's not enough progress to show you. I will show you next time if I get some more stuff done. But the reason I haven't is because I fell down the making garments rabbit hole, and that's where more of my knitting time has gone, along with socks. Socks are portable, so that's what I take when I leave the house. Like I had an orthodontist appointment to take a kid to yesterday, so that's just kind of how it works. All right, now I will talk about some acquisitions, upcoming classes. Maybe I'll talk about that right now. I have upcoming classes. So at the Yarn Bar, I teach sometimes, and I'm generally the one that teaches brioche. And so I am teaching the Harlow hat this Saturday and next Saturday, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend. And then in October, they just released the times and dates for the Sweetfern hat class. I knit a sample of this for the Yarn Bar years and years and years ago. I think it might have been either in a pom-pom. I think it was in a pom-pom magazine from a long time ago. But you can get the pattern online. It is a fingering weight hat that has like a brioche cable motif, which brioche cables are just increases and decreases. So it's like a faux cable, but it makes a fun motif on the hat. It's not all the way around the hat. It's just in like a panel on the hat. And that one is going to be October 11th and 25th. There's 2 weeks in between the class just because fingering weight takes longer, and you have to, after the first class, you'll learn how to do the brioche panel. And then the second class will get up into the crown. So you have some knitting to do in between. I will link the class registration site down below, because you can register online, but you have to be in person to take the class. So more of a local person. But it's on a Saturday. Those 2 dates are Saturdays. All right. So that's my upcoming Yarny events. Acquisitions. So I got, I think I talked about this last time when my LYS, the Yarn Bar, had their anniversary birthday sale. They always have where you can fill out little tickets to win prizes, and we won a prize. And this is all actually in my daughter's stash because she likes to get cotton yarn. I think I talked about it last time, but this was one of the prizes, and it is the Queensland Collection Coastal Cotton. So there's 3 skeins of this one, which is number 1055. There's one of 1046, one green one, and then one multi one of 5008, or green turtle. This one actually has a name on it for the color. And my daughter likes to make washcloths and dishcloths and stuff for people for Christmas presents. So this is in her stash, not mine. But yeah, lovely colors. I think actually making one of those squares, like the the linen stitch square that I'm doing for that blanket, where you have the square in the middle and then the square on the outside is another color, and then another one would look really cool in those, and maybe I'll show her that pattern because that's a free pattern on Ravelry, to see if she wants to make some colorful washcloths instead of just solid color ones. Okay, and then I told you that Moonglow had an update for her fall collection. I can't remember what it was called. It was like pumpkin patch, something to do with, this is going to be crinkly because I haven't taken it out. And I splurged and I bought the whole set in DK weight. And it's gorgeous. I did not get a sock set this time. So this one had 7 colors. The sock set would be, this is the color for the sock, the main color for the set, and then all the other colors are the minis. But she sells, so when she comes out with her collections, she generally sells DK weight 100-gram skeins of the collection, which is what this is. She also does that in 50-gram for fingering or 100-gram for fingering. And then she also, she might do a 100 or 50-gram in, I think she calls them doodle packs or whatever, where it's like one main color is 100 and then the other colors are 50 for DK weight. And then she has the fingering weight sock set. And then I think this time she actually did a DK weight sock set as well. I have a pattern, another pattern that I have in her DK weight yarn that I used from a few years back for one of her sock sets. It was my Shermer socks DK, or DK Shermer socks. I can't remember exactly. I think it's Shermer DK socks, something like that. And then I also used one of her sets in my Shermer socks as just where I put the stripes only up on the leg instead of on the foot as well. So I've used her yarn for designs plenty of times, and I think this would make another amazing Aros sweater. So I might make a sweater out of it. She a lot of times will make, sorry for the crinkles, she a lot of times will make a blanket with these, where she just does a garter stitch blanket with the color blocks. And that would be amazing for like soccer season and football season and stuff, I thought too. So I haven't 100% decided if it's going to be a blanket or a sweater. It might be a sweater because my daughter loved these colors as well. So I might make it a sweater that fits me, and then it'll just be oversized on her because she steals my stuff all the time. All right, crinkles done. But that was a big splurge. I don't generally buy that much yarn at one go. Anyways, yeah, so that's all the yarny, nitty stuff. I'm going to talk about reading, watching, the life stuff. Still reading Shift from Hugh Howey. It is book 2 of the Silo series. I haven't watched the show at all because I don't have Apple TV Plus. I really am enjoying the books. I am more than 50% done with this book. Again, this is my nighttime reading. I only read at night for a few chapters before I get too sleepy and fall asleep. So it takes me a while to get through a hard, a paper book reading. I am listening to Glow of the Everflame, which is book 2 of the Kindred Curse saga by Penn. I'm listening to this on my Libby app from the library. I'm really enjoying it. If you like fantasy, romantasy type novels, this is right up your alley. It's not quite fairy, but there is magic. The kindred are the quote unquote fairies that aren't fairies. But yeah, so there's humans, there's kindred, there's a juxtaposition between the two. Yeah, so it's a very interesting romance fantasy type novel. I'm enjoying it. I think there's 4 in the series. I don't know if that's the end of the series or if there's supposed to be more, but right now I'm only on book 2, so I don't really care. I'll just keep reading them as long as I like them. Watching NFL started, so I've been watching football. Broncos lost last weekend. They shouldn't have, and it made me mad, but at least they won their first one. I watched the third season of A Discovery of Witches. I hadn't watched that yet. I've read the first 3 books. So the Discovery of Witches is from the book series, A Discovery of Witches. And the TV show is very good. Follows the books fairly well. Not 100%, but fairly well. And I've read the first 3 books. I have the 4th book that came out later from that series. But the first 3 book is a standalone trilogy in my mind. I don't know how much I'm going to like the 4th book. We'll see. I just haven't taken the time to read it yet. We are still watching Wednesday because we're watching that with our daughter, and she's just way too busy. So we can get like an episode a week. So since the new season, or the second half of the season came out, I think we've watched 2 episodes. So we still have, 2 more to go? I think there's 8 total. So we'll get it done at some point. And then I started rewatching Stranger Things because they're going to release the final season, season 5 here in November, I think. And so I'm just rewatching all of them by myself because I like that series a lot. And if other people sit down to watch TV with me, they don't mind watching that again. So that's what I'm watching. Life stuff. Like I said, soccer started up. My son played. So the first game was 2 Saturdays ago, and they won. It was a tight game. They won 2-1. He scored one of the goals. And then this last Saturday, he played 2 games. So they played at one time and then had a break between them and then played a second time. That was a lot for them. This is just like the youth league in town. It's not like the crazy traveling league. And the first game they played very well, kind of trounced the other team. He scored 2 goals, one on a penalty kick even, so he was very happy about that. The second game they lost. They never even scored a goal. They were tired. They were dragging most of that game because they only had like 1 sub too, so it's just like, they just dragged a lot. My daughter also is a ref for soccer, and so she refed last week. She refed 5 games. She was there all day. I think her first game started at 9, and her second game there was lightning, so it didn't start till 5. So she got home like after 6:30 that night. It was probably close to 7 when she got home. Long day. But she enjoys reffing soccer games. And then my husband and son, I think I talked about this a few episodes ago, earlier this summer, but they started flying RC planes, like the big RC planes, and they finished their certification, and now they're members for the RC flying plane club, so they can go out to the little runway area whenever they want to fly. They have their own plane that they bought. They're looking to buy another one at some point just so they can both fly at the same time instead of taking turns, but they're really enjoying that. It's just that they don't have a lot of time because, of course, my husband works. It's getting darker earlier, so like after school, my son has time, but my husband's still working, and then when he gets done with work, they don't have a lot of time before after dinner to go out there because it's getting dark earlier. So it's mostly on a weekend type thing. But like I said before, I'm feeling a little froggy because my son he actually was homesick on Monday. He was like sleeping most of the day on Sunday. And then sick on Monday. And now I'm getting a little like my throat is sore. So we'll see if it's just me sleeping with my mouth open or actually getting sick. The big thing that happened yesterday is we have big poplars in our yard, one in the backyard, one in the front. A poplar is within the family of a cottonwood, but it doesn't it's not nearly as bulbous and big as a cottonwood, but it's big. Like the base of these trees, I can't wrap my arms around. They're big. But they go up straight and don't have they don't branch out. They branch out just like this way a little bit. So they're more conical. But they're huge. They're like the biggest trees in the neighborhood. And our front one has been slowly dying over the last few years. They're quick growing, but quick dying trees. They're only supposed to last 30 to 40 years, and these ones lasted maybe I don't even think they lasted 25, that front one, because the people that owned the house before us planted it. And so this tree was about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way dead. Didn't have a lot of leaves growing on it anymore. So we had it removed yesterday. And since this one at least was further away from our house, but it's like, there's mailboxes out there and, you know, people's cars and other things. So they took it down in stages, but it was kind of fun to watch. It took over 2 hours to get that thing down before they felled the final part, which I think it was only probably 15 feet tall by the time they pulled the final base down. So they really took off a lot of it, because it's probably a good 60-foot tree at least, I would think. It's very tall. Very big trees. Anyway, so that was fun for us to watch. I even set up my phone for a time lapse so the kids could see, you know, it was like, it was cool. Fun to watch. We had neighborhood kids sitting out across the cul-de-sac in chairs watching it and stuff. It was fun. It was just a bummer that the kids were at school and they couldn't see it live, but we took a few videos to show them as well beyond the time lapse. So that was the big thing. And then the other thing is I'll probably decorate for Halloween this weekend. I'm excited about. I love Halloween, like I said before. So that's just the life stuff. Being busy, teaching some classes, and soccer. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I hope you, if you're new here, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Like I said, it's fun to see more and more views. Makes me happy, makes me giddy. I love this community that we have. I hope to see you guys again in 2 weeks. Again, like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you guys later. Bye.